Hi, my name is Martin Lindquist. I'm a professor of biostatistics here at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. The working group is the Functional Neuroimaging Working Group that I run together with Brian Caffo. We deal with everything functional neuroimaging. So primarily with work related to functional magnetic resonance imaging, where so basically you study your brain while you perform certain tasks or rests and see if you can sort of link that to different behaviors or diseases and things like that. And so we work a lot on sort of developing new methods for analyzing that type of data, and we work a lot with collaborators across the campus. So the working group is very sort of interdisciplinary. So we have people from radiology and from Kennedy Krieger, which is sort of adolescent health. There's a lot of things like autism and ADHD that they study that have sort of neurodevelopmental sort of implications, and so they're interested in that. And then also people from Homewood and sort of brain sciences there. And so we have a sort of a motley crew of people that sort of meet on a weekly basis, and we talk about papers and research projects. There was a student last week who presented her recent work to get feedback, it's we have good fun. It's basically, Brian and I. It's a flat leadership. Yeah, as a lot of things here in the department. People can sort of suggest different things and work on it. So it's usually just, Brian and I sort of. Or usually I sort of send out the invites and things like that, and so people contact me and I'll put them on the mailing list. So we sometimes sort of cater lunch and have a long work all day, together and try to make figures and things like that, and push papers forward that we work on. So that's been very useful as well. Yeah. So we meet once a week. It's on Fridays at 10. Used to be in person, but then we moved over to Zoom, and we kind of got comfortable with that. So it's usually over Zoom, Fridays between 10 and 11. On occasion, we meet in person for most of a Friday just to work on different projects that we're collaborating on. On occasion, we'll have some guest speakers that will sort of zoom in, but we also have students who give presentations, or we just sort of talk about a recent paper that we're excited about or something. Well, I guess the goal with all these things is to find people that have common interests with you, but I think it is to sort of understand the types of problems in functional neuroimaging that we need to sort of solve, as basically the more statistical problems, and sort of by talking with people in other disciplines, we can sort of hear about what they're worried about and what they need help with, and so that sort of helps drive our own research in that area. So it's just a way to get sort of feedback from different areas, and also just a sounding board for sort of new ideas to see if they're good or bad or worth pursuing and things like that. So often if I have a new idea, I'll just come bring it in and see if people think it seems exciting or not, and so that for me that's been a very, very useful thing. Yeah.